If you're planning to study anywhere else in the world, I believe there is a system that you have to build around the steps that you take until you achieve that. So, hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about one thing that people overlook when they are looking for, places where they want to study, or when they are, in the process of trying to secure a fully funded scholarships, or even just gaining an admission into a university. I've realized that most people are just all over the place. And when you're all over the place, most of the times you don't really get to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. So if you're planning to study anywhere else, this video is for you. I'm going to discuss the things that you have to put in place for you to be successful in the process. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is understanding the system. Each region, each country has its own system. So as long as you don't really understand, like, what's the system like, what should I do, what should I put in place, you will end up, going all over the place, trying to, understand what is really going on. And in the end, you're just frustrated because when you feel like you're one step towards your goal, you go back 10 steps because you did not understand how the system works, what they wanted. And the first mistake that people do when they are trying to, secure scholarships is not understanding how the grading system in the country that they want to study is. So the first thing that I want to talk about is understanding GPA. What is a GPA? So a GPA is a grade point average, which is a number that shows you your overall academic performance. So you should look at it like it's your academic scorecard. So like when someone asks, like, what do you bring to this program? Like, you have to show it up so that they know, are you really good? Are you moderately good? Or you're not even fit for the program? So the first thing to understand is the GPA and how each country takes this GPA, because most people don't understand this and they just put in their applications, and when they get rejections, they are like blaming other people or blaming their ancestors that, this thing didn't work for me. But when we all know that the root cause is them not understanding the GPA and not understanding like their standing before they even applied. So GPA system is very important. So they calculate your grade and they give it a point value. So there are various scales, but it uses a 4.0 scale, where when you have a 4.0, you have an A. When you have a B, you have 3.0. When you have a C, you have 2.0. When you have a D, you have 1.0. And then when you failed, then you actually have a 0 GPA. So what they do is that they look at your degree overally, and then, all those courses that you're doing and everything, they get like a point or a value. And in the end, you get like an average, a GPA or an average point value. And that is what they call the GPA. So one thing that most people really think about when they hear about GPA, they always think like, oh, it has to do with degrees and all of that stuff. But honestly, your high school diploma has a GPA skill. Your high school diploma has a GPA point. So it's like in Zimbabwe, if you have your O-level, that could be your high school GPA. So it shows like your performance across all the high school years, and colleges use it to decide, can we admit you into our undergraduate program, or can we give you a merit award, or can we give you a scholarship? So it is important that when you're planning to study in the USA, you might have to use your high school GPA. But if you also have your A-level GPA, that could be an added advantage. But when you're planning to do a master's or to do a postgraduate degree, then they would be considering your undergraduate GPA. They'll be looking at, what did you get during your bachelor's, and it gives you a standing in university, and they actually use it to say, okay, you are eligible for this graduate school entry or for job applications. So before you do an application, understand how the GPA system works, because it matters. When you apply for programs, of course, there are other things that are being considered for the program, that are being considered for your admission. But the truth is, when you have a good GPA, you actually boost your admission or scholarship chances, and this kind of strengthens your application. So if you are lacking in the other areas, if you have a really good GPA, you can actually make up for it. And then we also overlook, like, most students will say, okay, I have a GPA, so I can apply for anything. And I feel like we overlook that because there are minimum GPAs that are needed for each program. So if you really want to secure a fully funded scholarship, you should, like, fully funded, a full ride, you should at least have a 3.8 to 4.0 GPA. And then if you're considering university merit awards, we are talking about a GPA of 3.5 to 3.8. And then if you're applying for state or smaller scholarships, you can even use a GPA of 3.0 or 3.4 GPA. And then sometimes you can apply for, like, need-based or special talent awards with a low GPA if you have, like, strong leadership qualities, if your essay is top-notch, or if you have other unique achievements. Please note, this is just a guidance to the minimum GPA required. There are people who have secured top full ride scholarships with maybe a GPA of 3.5 or of 3.8. What it means is that they leveraged on other things that are required when you're applying for admission or when you're applying for scholarships. So do not let the scale or the minimum GPA that I gave you kind of make you think, okay, I'm not good enough for this. But knowing how these things are graded and how it is done actually makes it better when you're applying, to really know, like, what are your chances. Like, you would then really know, like, do I have a chance, or maybe I should look for, scholarships that fit best my profile. So this is one thing that most people overlook, and then when they come back and they get rejections, they're like, I don't know why I'm always getting rejections. But probably you are applying for those top right full scholarships with a GPA that is even less than 3. And there are people who have 3.8, 4.0, and on top of that, they have, like, good leadership, qualities. Their essays are top notch. You can't find anything at fault in them. They have, like, unique achievements. They have been serving the community. And there you are with your GPA that is less than 3.0, and you're saying, I should apply for this. So before you even apply and stress yourself with getting rejections, understanding the grading system, the GPA, the minimum requirements, and all of that really matters, because that would actually make you look at, make a list of the universities that you can apply to and try to put the top 5 that that with these ones, I am high likely to get a positive result. So, in a few words, what I'm trying to say is, if you understand the GPA system, you will know the scholarships that really align best with you, and apply to those ones, and avoid, the stress of getting rejected in those highly competitive scholarships. Now, I talked about the O-level and the A-level GPAs. This is in relation to Zimbabwe education system. So I talked about how the O-level GPA shows how well you performed, right? And this matters because if you're applying for US universities, it helps you with college placements, and then some programs also look at your consistency, and then they would decide if they are willing to give you a scholarship or not. And with the O-level GPA, you would actually know, it actually builds your academic foundation, and you would actually know that how is my life going to be if I'm going to the next level? And if I am to shape the GPA system around the USA scholarship environment, you should know that even if you don't have A-level, you can use your O-level GPA because it is equivalent to the American high school diploma, and then you can actually get into colleges. So if you're out there and you're thinking, okay, I only have O-level, will I be able to get into to study abroad? I think USA is one of the areas that you should consider, because with your O-level, you can actually get a college placement. And if you're out there and you actually have A-level, just know that it is an additional, advantage to you, because this would help you in those advanced placement courses, and having both levels can actually strengthen your US university or scholarship applications. So as you can see, whether you have O-level, whether you have A-level, there is a place for you as long as you understand the system. And then if we look at this, grading system, if we take it to the region of Europe, you would see that most universities in Europe consider A-level GPA as the official measure of high school completion. That means with only your O-level, certificate, you will not be able to get into a university because they only consider A-level. So imagine you are out there and you're thinking, okay, I want to study in Europe, but I have O-level, and you don't understand the GPA or the grading system. What happens is that you're going to apply to universities, and in the end keep on getting rejections and rejections and rejections, and you're questioning yourself what exactly is going on. But because you don't understand the system, you just, dive in, and in the end, getting a lot of rejection sometimes puts us in a place where we would have to cleanse our mindset again for us to pick up where from where we were. So what I'm trying to point out here is, whether you want to study in the Europe, whether you want to study in USA, you have to understand the grading system. You have to understand their system, the systems they use to grade your certificates and all of that, because it helps you to focus in the right area. If you have O-level, you know that I have a chance with USA admissions, and if you have O-level and A-level, you have an added advantage to USA, and you also have an added advantage to apply to Europe. So together, having O-level or A-level GPAs show your academic growth, discipline, and readiness for university life. So it depends on the region where you want to study, but every grade counts. And whilst we are still in the grading system, there are various tools that you can use to calculate your GPA. I will put in the link in the comments for you to, use it to grade yourself. So if you're out there, you have your O-level, you have your A-level, and you are thinking, where should I start? Or maybe you already did a bachelor program and you want to do a postgraduate, and you're thinking, where should I start? The starting point is understanding the grading system of the country that you want to study in. And once you understand that, most of the things start to come into place. So I hope that we get to discuss the next step in the next video, but I hope that now you understand one of the things that you have to understand, and now you understand that applying for scholarships and admissions is a process. You don't start from level 3, you start from level 1, which is understanding the education or the grading system in the country of interest that you want to study in. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that this has helped you understand, and I hope that when we come back, we'll discuss the next step after understanding the grading system of the country that you want to study with. So with that, bye. See you in the next one. Ciao.